المنطقة حاصرة. شو النار. طبعا هذا سفينتين مو وحدة ولد.
الحمد لله تم إنقاذ الناجين من
U.S. war on Iran, projectiles hit 4 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. That's, of course, the key waterway where global oil traffic has been brought to a standstill by Iran, which claimed responsibility for attacking at least 2 of those commercial ships, including a Liberian-flagged vessel and a Thai-flagged bulk carrier.
The geography is extremely well known and understood. Perhaps because of that, the risks currently being faced are so severe. Take, for example, Maersk Shipping, which has got at least 10 ships that it says stranded in the northern part of the Strait of Hormuz, and many more on the outside that it can't get in or out because obviously the waterway is so difficult. In addition, they are refusing to send now ships up through into the Red Sea because of the possibilities of the Houthis and the risks around Yemen. As a result, something like Maersk is saying the current situation is absolutely uncharted and unprecedented.
Some of the hubs on which global trade does rely on are actually being affected, are being closed by the situation right now. It's true from Jebel Ali, it's true for Abu Dhabi, it's true for a few of those hubs, and this is going to create ripple effect, I think, for a while, as we need to see how this is going to sort itself out. In the short run, we can manage this, but if this was to endure, this would create, I think, serious congestions and serious issues across the global supply chain.
What happens next is anybody's guess. The very idea that this area is being mined by the Iranians, or indeed that the US is going in and starting to attack those various rubber dinghies and ships that's doing the mines, it's simply unheard of, and frankly, we don't know how it will develop. The only thing we can say with any degree of certainty is that as long as that waterway remains closed, then the price of oil just keeps rising.
به ترامپ ارباب کودک آزار صهیونیست‌ها و سازمان موساد مکرر هشدار داده ایم که جنگ را شما آغاز می‌کنید ولی پایان آن را ما تعیین می‌کنیم. نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران به دلیل در دست داشتن ابتکار در تنگه هرمز نیازی به بستن آن تنگه ندارند و بسته شدن تنگه هرمز به دلیل شرایطی است که آمریکا و صهیونیست‌ها بر کشورهای جهان تحمیل کردند. هرگز اجازه نمی‌دهیم حتی 1 لیتر نفت به نفع آمریکا و صهیونیست‌ها و شرکای آنها از تنگه هرمز عبور کند و هر شناوری که شناور و یا محموله نفتی آن برای آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی و شرکای متخاصم آنها باشد هدف مشروع ما خواهد بود. سیاست ضربه متقابل از سوی ما پایان یافته و سیاست ضربه پشت ضربه را تا تنبیه و پشیمانی کامل شما پیش رو داریم. یک بار هم که شده صادق باشید، قهرمان نمایی نکنید و به شکست خود در طول تاریخ آمریکا و از زمان بسته شدن نطفه نحس رژیم صهیونیستی اعتراف کنید و به زبان غلط کردن خود را تلفظ کنید. بارها به حضور ناوهایتان در آبهای منطقه اشاره کردید. یک بار هم که کمی جلو آمدید با قدرت موشکی ایران عقب نشینی کردید. از روز اول تجاوز شما انتظار آنها را میکشیم تا به شما ثابت کنیم که ارتش بزدل شما کوچکتر از آن است که روی آن حساب میکنید، که نخواهید توانست قیمت نفت و انرژی را با تنفس مصنوعی پایین بیاورید، که با گسترش جنگ در منطقه اعلام کردیم منتظر بشکه‌ای $200 باشید، چون قیمت نفت تابع امنیت در منطقه است که منشأ ناامنی شما هستید.
The current security situation in the Gulf is really complex. So the US-Israeli strikes against Iran started about a week ago. They seem to be going on relentlessly. There have been retaliations from the Iranians, both against the attackers, but also against third countries, GCC countries in the Gulf, and some attacks on shipping. So if you are a shipping operator, a ship captain in that region, it's going to be very complicated what's going on and understanding if you can move, whether you should stay, and whether it's even economically viable to do your job. President Trump has suggested at various times different ways of making sure that that trade, and particularly oil and gas energy supplies, flow through the Gulf. And one of the ways he suggested is escorting or convoying shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. That, of course, depends on the level of threat that's still faced, and that threat is we call it being written down, being destroyed all the time. So we heard very recently that the Americans had sunk maybe around 16 vessels that are capable of mine laying in the Strait of Hormuz. I think when most people think of escorting, shipping, or convoy operations, they have a very specific picture in mind, and that's probably one of long lines of ships, oil tankers with a warship at the front and a warship at the back, steaming along and firing missiles to protect the flow of trade. That certainly was the case in the Second World War, may even have been the case in the 1980s in the Iran-Iraq tanker war. The world is a little different now, and we have different capabilities. So I think a more appropriate word than convoy is escort or protection duties, and that's more of a layered defense. So I think we can expect to see satellite and airborne surveillance that could be bolstered by crewed and uncrewed patrol aircraft or surface vessels that paint a picture. That picture needs to be shared with all of the interested stakeholders, including shipping companies, so they know what's going on in and around the Gulf.
Well, we've done enormous damage to every single category of target. Every mission the president has assigned the military is well along, with a couple of exceptions here and there. One of those is just the drone stockpiles, which, as you saw in the videos, a number of these are underground. We could deal with these as in the years ahead by a number of measures that we will take. The big issue here and why Israel was going to attack, even if we hadn't at a certain point, not at that point when we had the precise intelligence that triggered this, but it's because of the missile program. And we've taken out together probably 70% of the missile launchers, very substantial stocks of the missiles, and even the factories that make the various components that are assembled into those missiles. So a lot of achievement there, a lot of achievement against the regime forces of all different types. The naval force is basically sitting on the bottom, but they still are significant threats, as you highlighted earlier, against civilian shipping and even our ships that are in the region. The mine threat is real. The unmanned surface vessel, which hit one of those ships, that's real. There are short-range missiles, and there are drones that are actually remotely flown because they have line of sight, especially when you get to the strait, which is so narrow.
播报新闻是我的日常，必须时刻保持妆容和皮肤的最佳状态。当来到人生中最重要的时刻，也是 KS 逆时奇迹帮助我轻松驾驭，闪闪发光。KS 逆时奇迹活肤露全效精华、精华霜，多达5种 EGF 6大冻龄关键成分，保湿效果让我非常满意，小细纹也不再困扰我。我就是我自己的最佳女主角 ，KS 让我从容自信，光彩动人。我是我人生中的大女主，我的最爱我做主。KS 逆时奇迹系列热卖中，下单请上快点购，透过中天新闻网 App 下单立减50，或输入 CTI 推荐码有额外折扣。